And we're back on the 1959 Buick right front fender here. I started a couple of weeks ago making a little repair for this, and I thought, well, here's a good opportunity to finish that up. Let's see if we can do it. Got a pretty substantial rust hole in there, and we've got a little piece to put in there, and I think we'll start by cleaning up the back of the fender so we're not trying to weld to too much undercoating and so on, and hope that we made the repair panel big enough. That doesn't look too bad. Luckily, the rust stops very much right there. And 1 inch away from the hole, it's still got original primer on it. So nicely localized and should make the repair a little easier. So I'm going to leave this brace intact for now, and we'll just see how it goes here. I'm going to start by, there's a big dent in it right here, so I want to fix that so that we're not fighting that, because we've all been watching Kyle Carter, right? And you remember, and he told us he'd fix those dents before you start welding, and that's solid advice. So it's in just over 1/8 of an inch. I don't think it's going to be too bad, and we're not trying for perfect. We are trying for decent. Sometimes decent is enough of a challenge. So there's the very first roughest trim, and now I'm going to just grind the paint back on front and back. Then we'll get some clamps, and then we'll see what's actually going on here. Probably get a file. At this point it might be easier to file this than keep trying to use a grinder on that. So that's what we'll do. Time for the old tack and bash. This is not going to work, is it? It's maybe going to work. Okay, I've got it tacked every 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and I'm just going to grind that down now, and then we'll do a little tappity tap, and then we'll keep welding it. I'm going to have to adjust the angle here to there. See, I did not roll that in enough, so rather than, there was not really any good way to support it, so I'm going to weld it in, and then we'll put a dolly in here and we'll just roll that whole edge down there, and then we'll just really hope for the best. And if that doesn't work, we'll put some of those cool chrome fender flares on that everybody likes. Alright, well, it's a little low there, a little dipsy-doodly there, and then a few taps. Okay. So there's kind of an odd transition on these fenders, and sometimes you see it if you get the light just right on a picture of these cars. And at the front here, coming around the headlight eyebrow, this is very much concave here. And as you work to the back of the fender, that reverse gets smaller and smaller, and right about here it disappears, and then the whole panel is convex this way. So right in here is this slightly awkward place where there's a straight line. So that's something we gotta be aware of. And also it's gonna want to shrink all along this weld here, and it's gonna pull that all down a bit. So we're gonna hope that we can twang that back out. And I'm just going to keep welding it, and we're going to just have to fine tune it once it's in there. But it's going okay. We'll just carry on. Again, we're not no intention of metal finishing any of these cars. I'd rather just finish them. Time for the YouTube patented time-lapse welding and grinding stuff. There's the first bit of welding and grinding done. Whatever, it's a good start. I'm going to clean up the back of the weld now, and then we're going to dolly this all flat again, we hope. And then we have to fold this edge a little tighter. So I'm going to put a dolly on this line here, inside, and just tap it down again, hopefully. And then we will kind of block it and see what kind of fine tuning it needs. As far as we're going to go anyway, but that went better than it could have. Still a ways to go. Yep, so far so good. Okay, let's try and roll this down now. Okay. I want to tighten this line up now. That's gotten a little round, so we're going to stick a dolly in there. And we're going to tighten that up. It's good on this side. And then we have a low spot right there. Of course, I can't get the hammer in there because this brace is there. So, as much as I did not want to pull this brace off, that's next. That means that we have to pull this molding. And then I think I'd like to knock that dent out. And have to figure out how we're going to make all of this mess here. It's just garbage from here down, inside and out. So it's actually not a piece I'm really looking forward to making, but we'll think of something, I guess. Okay, we've gotten it sort of on there and tapped on it a little bit. It's actually, yeah, it's getting there. I'm gonna put a little black on it here, and then we'll sand it, and then we'll play with it a little more. Again, we're not trying to do this with no body work, but it is kind of fun to minimize the amount of time you got to spend on body work. I like to get it so we can do them in one coat, and then right to primer. Obviously we'll trim this off later, but for now I just kind of want to get that big welded seam a little closer. Give it a good 15 seconds to dry here. And very quickly. Okay, well, it's high there, it's low there. That's kind of the worst of it, really. Well, we'll take care of that, and then I'm gonna probably walk away before I make it any worse, honestly. Not here to get it perfect, just something that can be worked on. Okay, well, that's all we got time for. I can keep fiddling with it, but we're reaching the diminishing returns, and you know, we're not going to spend 4,000 hours on this old four-door Buick. So I'm happy with that. We could, you know, I might fiddle with it a bit more once it's on the car and we're actually doing the body work, but for now, At least that gets me something that is structural, and certainly a lot better than that. And reasonably happy with that. Again, I'm not a professional. And yes, this will be next. Well, this dent will be next. And then we're going to have to cut a large portion of the back of this off. And the inside will be actually probably harder than the outside. Well, certainly will be, because the outside actually looks quite simple, and it'll probably just be a big rectangle that will go in there somewhere. So actually this was the hardest repair on this Fender, so I'm glad I did it first. So that's it for now. I'm going to get back at the Buick hopefully tomorrow with Dean, and we're gonna get back reassembling the heater and such. All right, thanks for checking it out. I'm really happy that that's done, and it's going to let me get on to the rest of it here. So we'll see everybody in a couple of days for more of the... This is a regular contributor.
Same old shit.